Even though I love living in Iceland and I have no plans on living there full time, I have a greater appreciation for visiting New York. Like, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, specifically Bushwick, and I'm visiting my family right now. And the fact that in the wintertime in Iceland, for those who are not aware, in December, January, the sun comes up at around 11 and sets at 3 or 4. And when I used to live in New York, it seemed like the winter days were so short. But in comparison to Iceland, nah, there's no competition there. And so being here and the sun being up at like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning and it's sunshine, there's blue skies that you can see up there. Like, the weather is relatively stable. When they say the weather's going to be something for the day, it pretty much is like that. Like, it's just incredible to experience that. And I just have a great appreciation for it. Like, I'm only visiting for a short period of time, but I'm getting the opportunity to embrace sunshine, embrace it not being super windy. There's no snow on the ground right now. There might be later. Obviously, it's going to vary depending on where in the US that you are from or visiting, or even other parts just of the world that are not like Iceland. But it is not something that's lost on me to share, because I do often, think about how I've learned to cope with the Icelandic winter. And I have a video in the description if people are curious about how I've gotten to a point where the winter blues don't like hit me, or I don't feel like I am falling into a pit of despair doing these short days. And it took time for me to develop that. It was not as if it just automatically happened. My first winter in Iceland, so 2016, I moved in the summertime, and then of course that winter came. I didn't know what to expect as a person living there full time. I had visited, in fact, my first time visiting Iceland was in the wintertime of, I believe it was 2013. So I had experienced winter, but living in a place versus visiting a place, as we all know, very different. And I learned quickly that winter in Iceland, those short days, those long nights could swallow you up, because you can get all consumed with thinking about how dark it is and how long it is in terms of the nighttime, and waking up and going to work, and you get to work at 9 and the sun is not out until 11. And then when you're leaving, again, it's pitch black. Like, really intense if you let yourself go there and you don't have some ways of coping with it. So that video that I made, like I mentioned in the description, you can check it out. This is, for anybody. I think those methods, they worked well because I needed them in Iceland, but I think if I had also used them in New York, I would have had a much different experience about how I felt regarding the city. And I just wanted to share this because it isn't always that I reflect on these things. And after living in a place for so long, you just sort of get used to it as your normal. And then when I come back to New York or go to other places, I'm like, wow, okay. This does have an impact on people. It does have an impact on me. And I, like I mentioned, don't have any plans of ever leaving Iceland, but it's nice that I could take a little break from the shorter days in the wintertime. But then in the summertime, we have 24-hour bright days. And it's just so much happening that I'm excited about getting a chance. So I feel really fortunate to get to experience and see the difference. I am just basking, though, in the sunshine. In the bright days, because even though the days are shorter in New York or other parts of the US right now for winter, they're still, for me, considered long, or at least longer than what you would typically have in Iceland on average in the winter. I would love to hear in the comments about some of your experiences with winter, if you live in a place where winter can get intense, and how you deal with it, if you have any particular methods that you use, or stories that you have about winter. And if you've been to Iceland during winter, I definitely would love to hear about that. So let me know. Let's have a little chat down there. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with somebody who you think would enjoy hearing this perspective, or just learning a little bit more about Iceland in a way that's from a really personal place and comparison of places to live, such as New York and Iceland as a country. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.